Hello everyone, welcome to another history video. So today we're going to take a look at Blue-Black Tempo List in history format. So funny enough, if you've been playing Timeless, you might be a little bit familiar with this card. We have this card called Hydroponics Architect, and we're also going to be playing this card in history format, which is a little bit unusual because this format actually doesn't have any fetch lands outside of Prismatic Vista to kind of take advantage of this card. But the reason why we're playing it is there's a lot of Magus of Moon or Harbinger of Seas in the format. Considering that they just got unbanned, a lot of people are playing with those cards. Hydroponics Architect can make your lands into a basic island, which means if it does hit your dual lands, it now becomes a basic that can even tap for black mana in this deck, even if a Magus is down on the battlefield. But there is a problem. Like I mentioned, in this format, we don't have fetch lands outside of Prismatic Vista. So how do we circumvent this? Well, we have this other card called Lorwyn Revealed, which is an island cycling card that can get any island from the deck into your hand. So we're playing 4 copies of Lorwyn Revealed and 4 copies of Prismatic Vista, which is a bit unusual to say the least, because you never really see 4 copies of Lorwyn Revealed in a deck in this format. But in order to empower the Hydroponics Architect, you kind of have to do that. And basically this becomes our deck building cost because the Lorwyn Revealed is going to be part of a land base. So we're actually only playing with 19 untapped lands, and then we have 4 copies of Lorwyn Revealed, which might make the mulliganing phase a little bit difficult than usual. Outside of that, the threats that we're going to be playing are Psychic Frog, Quantum Riddler, and we also have Kaito, Bane of Nightmares as well. The reason why we're actually playing Quantum Riddler instead of something like a Treasure Cruise, which you kind of see it often in the mirror, is because unlike Timeless, we actually don't have other threats other than the Psychic Frog. So Quantum Riddler is going to basically fill that role in drawing a bunch of cards, but also being a threat at the same time, which also opens up another card, Cling to Dust here, since our deck actually doesn't work with Graveyard anymore, since we don't have things like Treasure Cruise. The Cling to Dust can get value over time, being able to escape a bunch of times. So that's what we're going to be working with today. So having said that, I'm going to be hopping over to some History Pass 3 to show you guys what the deck does. So let's hop on over. Okay, we have a Tamio plus Counterspell, but turn 2 we won't have the Counterspell up? Oh, they're playing this kind of deck. Sure. Okay.
I've read nearly the entire library.
Moon Shadow. We do have the Fatal Push for that. But light. I think I'm just going to potentially kill both of these on my turn. On opponent's end step. Got a Thoughtseize. Bum bum bum. Let's kill this first. I think the best card, unironically, I think the best card might actually have been Lorwyn Revealed. Okay. We are getting our land drops. The question is, like, I don't think I take this damage. Just leave up a counter spell here. Okay. Draw a card. Fatal Push. Hydroponics. Draw card. Prismatic Vista. And the Psychic Frog. I think this game is over. We got a Force of Negation plus a counter spell. Oh, we're playing against Skeptical Chemist. I know this person from our Discord. I think maybe the Force of Negation isn't that great. Potentially? Yeah, maybe the Force of Negation isn't that great. Oh yeah, they play Belmerk, huh? We need to get rid of 2 cards, but I have no idea. Maybe a Quantum Riddler and a Kaito. Oh, Hydroponics! Hydroponics! Look who's here! The attack of the Hydroponics! Double Dismember doesn't feel too good though. That's actually kind of kind of scary actually. Kind of scary. I probably have to dismember this. What do I do? The Psychic Frog is just so good here because the Dismember doesn't answer it. Oh, now it does. Yeah, now it does. But I do take another damage from the Moon Shadow though. Oh, that's a lot of damage I'm taking. Ow. Oh, thank God I got a Fatal Push. Let me see. Yeah, let's grab a Dark Six Shore. Ghost Vacuum. Probably pass a turn. I wonder if they play Counterspell. Invasion. Let's discard Ponder. Very strong card, by the way. Into a cut down. Okay, we got a counter spell. And a Cling to Dust. Moon Shadow. We're gonna let that resolve. Okay, perfect. I think we actually might have one Boger Trawler. Alright. GG's. Skeptical Chemist. Okay, sure. We got the Hydroponics. Man, what a card Hydroponics Architect is. Like, I'm not... Like, this is a format with only 4 fetches. Right? It's kind of crazy. No, my Lorwyn revealed. I mean, they might actually take away Ponder? Or maybe Psychic Frog, actually. Okay. Make that into a basic. Wombo combo?
Perhaps there are more useful texts down on the surface.
Man, the power creep goes hard. Watery Grave Basic Island. Let me screenshot this real quick. We're gonna attack. I mean, because I have a Force of Negation, maybe it's okay to maybe tap out even if I don't get a land. Okay, fantastic. We're also getting a Dismember. So even if like a Magus comes down, we have a Dismember for that. And we have a counter spell plus a Force of Negation for this board. It's actually pretty well protected. I think I'm actually going to counterspell this thing. Since the opponent doesn't know about my Force of Negation. And next turn I can even like Kaito and leave up a Force of Negation. A lot of things I can do. Yeah, I might even just go Kaito next turn. Bitter Triumph. Sorcery, land, creature, instant speed. So this is going to be able to attack like twice a turn. I think we protect this right now because the Tamiya transforms next turn if I... Oh, actually, never mind. Because of the Force of Negation actually exiles, it didn't transform. Perfect. Is it the third card or the second card? Oh, the Tamiya doesn't transform. Never mind. I lied.
Let's give it our all, punk. Ha! I love a dramatic entrance.
I lied. Surveil 2 and draw card. A Quantum Riddler.
Beat 6 different ways.
Oh wow, Grist. That's kind of a problem. Actually, no. The Grist is dead. Oh, they didn't attack. Wow. Okay. Um... So I can put 2 stun counters on this insect token and then dismember this thing. And then I attack the Grist, but that'll still put the Grist at 1 loyalty. And then they can keep generating tokens, but I'm gonna have some creatures anyways, so... So let's do this. Oh, I also just realized we got a Prismatic Vista here. And then we're gonna put 2 stun counters on this thing. And then we're gonna attack the Grist.
You're not going anywhere.
We're also gonna draw with this Prismatic Vista, so... Oh, very nice, actually. We get to also draw more cards with the Quantum Riddler next turn. Pretty good. Also, even if a Magus comes down, this Prismatic Vista, because it's a basic island, we can, you know, crack this to find the black source. So, we got Magus covered. What's this? It gains +1/+1 at the beginning of the end step. If a creature entered and creature died this turn, return this card from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Oh. Cool.
I'll aid you. So focus. Think before you act.
So I couldn't have attacked with the Tamiya first. Because the Psychic Frog was gonna draw 1 card anyways. So... So Grist is dead. We'll attack you. Okay. We go to second game. Beginning of the end step, if a creature entered and creature died this turn, return this card from the graveyard to the battlefield. I'm gonna assume opponent also plays things like Jarsoul. Maybe I want to play like a copy of a Ghost Vacuum. Bloodchief's Thirst. Another copy of Dismember for sure. Because of the Magus. Maybe that's it. Like these cards. Kaito was decent. Kaito was definitely decent there. I gotta cut 2 cards here. It doesn't look like Spell Snare is... Kaito seems okay, actually. And maybe I go down on Kaito. And potentially, like, a Snapcaster Mage. Hydroponics Architect. Insane. Insane. The best card in the format. I'm not sure if I protect this though if they kill it. Hexing Squelcher. Might have to Fatal Push that. That's a basic island Dark Shore. I'll play the Psychic Frog. So I'm not going to be able to force a negation this turn, but I want to force a negation and leave a counter spell the following turn. So there goes the Inquisition. They might get rid of a Fatal Push here. Or maybe a counter spell. Considering that they do see a Dismember. And a Fatal Push. Oh, Force of Negation gone. Wow. So it's potentially a Planeswalker they're trying to land. Okay, it's a Fatal Push. Alright, let's kill you. Shock this in. A fear missing out. I think I will probably counterspell this. Because I want to play the Kaito next turn. Actually, I can't leave up Force Negation if I want to play the Kaito, but... Like, what could possibly go wrong here, though? With the Kaito on the battlefield.
Impressed. Don't worry, Pom-Pom-chan. I've got this.
Let's say a Pyroglyph comes down. I still drew a card, so maybe that's okay. Yeah, there we go. Let's ponder first before we surveil. Prismatic Vista. Although we kind of like the Quantum Riddler. What should I do here?
My eyes are as sharp as my sword.
Let's do that. And we'll pass a turn with the Fatal Push plus Prismatic Vista. I'm not sure if another... I forgot if another land has been hit with the Prismatic Vista here. So they're dead next turn.
Aha. Now I know your weakness.
We'll also transform the Tameo.
If you need me, I'll be in the library.
A Fatal Push. Do I care about this Tameo? I think not, right? Because we win the game if we protect the Kaito, right? Yep, there is that Pyroglyph that we were talking about. What a card! Kaito!
Trained with the best.
Right. No. Sad. My Hydroponics. The Prismatic Vista value goes down because I had to play it on turn 1. Okay, thank God they can't take away the Lorwyn revealed. Also, playing Kozilek when I have Quantum Riddler. Stonks. Right? Ponder. Okay. Ponder. So if I get a land with this Ponder, I can transform the Tameo. Nice. We are so ahead with the Tameo transformed. We are so very ahead. See if they play Force Negation, and they don't.
Think before you act.
Another Fatal Push. I think I just kind of want to maybe play the Tamio now, and then I try to transform the Kaito the following turn. But then if they get a threat down, then I can't really... I mean, I guess I can just crack the clue to draw, if that's the case. So I'll top a Tamio here. And then we'll attack with the Kaito next turn. If it, you know, if it attacks. Oh wow, Sink the Stupor.
I've trained for situation just in time to save the day.
Nice! Honestly, the Kaito has been absolutely a monster today. Like, wow. Kaito has been a tear. A force. Insane. By the way, I have no idea what opponent's playing. It seems like a fairly similar list. But I'm not really sure what to play against them. Bloodship Stir seems pretty good because of the Tamio transformation and Frog. Dismember not. Dismember is okay. Nothing too crazy. I think that's it. Okay, we have a Hydroponics Architect with the... pretty nice set of cards, actually. If I knew I was going to be drawing a land, I would have actually kept this one. Because we have a Hydroponics Architect. No! My Hydroponics Architect. I might actually get rid of a Quantum Riddler here. If they have a 1 mana, like a Tamio, they might actually take away the Bloodship's Thirst. And they took away the Quantum Riddler. I'm playing the Prismatic Vista in case opponent has a Harbinger. Okay, a lot of passing. Wow, they shocked. Okay. So I'm guessing like a Force Negation plus a counter spell coming out. Then we have a Spell Snare plus a counter spell. A Brazen Borrower. I'm just gonna let it go. Because if they have a Force Negation plus a counter spell, I can't Spell Snare the Brazen Borrower. Okay, we try that again. We have a lot of good top decks here, by the way. Hold up. No. You cannot be serious. This prismatic vista, oh no, because I drew the island. I didn't see that. I can't play this counterspell. No. Unlucky. Unlucky. I can't believe it. What it got countered? I mean, they could still have... They might have not countered purely based on the fact that I have a counterspell in hand and I have the lands. But I actually didn't have the lands. Because I drew double island. So we know for a fact opponent might not have like removal spells. Because when I played my Psychic Frog, their first answer was Brazen Bee. You know what I mean? Say what? What is this? Hold on, I need to take a screenshot. What do I do? I mean, I can just Blood Chief's Thirst. I think I just let it go, honestly. Unbelievable that they have a Orcish Bowmaster. You have to worry about the Brazen Bee. Maybe I just sit back. Maybe I just sit back here. I don't think I can take another damage. Can I? Brazen Borrower. I would need to ponder for a Fatal Push. Maybe I do. A Cling to Dust. Okay, I'll actually Tameo here. And I'll attack with the Psychic Frog.
Interesting story.
A Sink. A Sink the Stupor. So that's what they had, just bunch of Sink the Stupors. Sure, I'll counterspell. And they'll probably have a counterspell, and I'll replay the... Oh, it's a Spell Pierce. But that's what they had. A pretty interesting game. Another discard spell. So the Cling to Dust can actually give me back 3 life here. Let's exile the creatures. Ooh, we got a Snapcaster Mage. Perfect.
I'd rather avoid a fight. But I'm not
So we gotta cast it now, right?
your words.
I lied. I thought I had a Fatal Push in the graveyard. Because I thought, because the Tamio left the scene, I thought I was gonna, you know, activate the Revolt trigger Fatal Push, but I lied. What am I doing? What am I doing? Awkward. I've been meaning to play with the Snapcaster Mage for so long because I got the Final Fantasy art. But like the card is just not as good, you know? As of recent. It's just not as good. Alright, we're gonna gain some life back. Oh, a Force of Negation. I guess I have to grab back a counterspell here.
I highly recommend this book.
Even if they draw a removal spell, they kill this, they deal 1 damage. That's the maximum they can do, so... It was a Stifle. Yeah, this is probably over. We're gonna be casting a draw 3 spell here. And then we have a counter spell to boot.
Before you act.
They have 1 card, which can be, you know, counterspelled. Right, GG's. Pretty cool game. Right, so we took a look at blue, black. Would you call this a tempo deck with 4 counterspells, 2 Force of Negations, and 2 Spell Snares? Maybe. With 4 copies of Tamio and 4 copies of Hydroponics. Potentially. You might call it that. But we have things like Kaito that's like pretty expensive, and Quantum Riddler, which also is kind of expensive. So I would consider this kind of like a mid-range. But yeah, I think the deck came out pretty alright. I gotta say though, I think the MVP today was Hydroponics and the Kaito. Both of these cards went absolutely nuts in every single match. Funny enough, without fetch lands in the format, because of the Lorwyn revealed plus a Prismatic Vista, you know, empowering the Hydroponics Architect, it actually works, surprisingly. So, you know, Hydroponics going crazy with the Prismatic Vista plus the Lorwyn revealed, and even if like something like Magus of the Moon comes down on the battlefield, because we've been making cards into an island with the Hydroponics Architect, you're gonna have that double island for the Stupor against Magus of the Moon, you know, bouncing it back into their hand in trying to potentially look for Dismember, right? We have 2 copies of Dismember in the main board. We also have a copy of a Dismember in the sideboard to bring against Magus of the Moon or Harbinger. But like potentially, you might not even need it, because if the Hydroponics Architect attacks and manages to hit Gloomlake Verge or the Dark Slick Shore or the Swamp, Now these cards become a basic, so they're going to be able to still produce black source even if a Magus is on the battlefield. So this card is really, really good in Historic format, despite not having fetch lands in the format. Although the deck does have to sacrifice some of the mulliganing stage, because as you can see, we are playing 18 lands, plus we are playing 1 copy of Sync of the Super, which means you only have 19 lands in the deck, and during mulligans, you might have to mulligan a little bit more to find a decent hand. Potentially, you might not see a land, or you might only see 1 land without Ponders or the Lorwyn revealed. And the reason why we can't play more lands is because, well, we are playing 4 copies of Lorwyn revealed, right? So this is part of our land base, but obviously cards like these island cycling cards being part of our land base means that, again, during the mulligan stage, you might have to mulligan a little bit more just to find untapped lands, things like that. So yeah, that's the deck building price for this. Is in order to play the Hydroponics Architect, you do have to play Prismatic Vista, plus 4 copies of Lorwyn Revealed, which is a little bit unusual. So that's the deck building cost there. As for the threats, we have 4 copies of Psychic Frog and 3 copies of Quantum Riddler, and we also have 2 copies of Kaito. So these are going to be the beatdown cards that are going to win the game. The reason why I didn't play the Treasure Cruise is because without the Quantum Riddler, we're only looking at Kaito and Psychic Frog, and I don't think these are strong enough in the game fast and historic. In Timeless, you have things like Orcish Bowmaster, things like that. So you have a little bit more threats. So I decided to play the Quantum Riddler here in the spot because it has some synergy with the Tamio, and the Quantum Riddler also has some synergy with quote-unquote going down on cards with the Force of Negation, and this also draws you tons of cards as well as being a threat, And because we don't play Treasure Cruise, we have Cling to Dust to potentially draw a bunch of cards by escaping multiple times. But, also being a Graveyard Hate is very nice because in Historic compared to Timeless, there's more Graveyard combo decks that aren't just Reanimate. As for the sideboard, Consigned Memory versus Eldrazi, Harbinger versus Eldrazi plus Greedy Mana Base, and we have Bloodship Thirst to destroy things like Tamio if opponent plays it, but it can also be a creature removal spell. Surgical versus Combo, Ghost Vacuum versus Combo plus Graveyard, 2 more copies of Force of Negation versus Combo, like Lotus Field, and then we have a Dismember versus Magus, Harbinger, things like that. Path of Pearl versus Aura, Toxic Deluge versus Aura as well. So yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.